and we had no choice in being born. We were just here. We're just here. Bang, slap. Born.
Little Jasper, happy birthday to you.
Where did you come from? You were just born, you live, you die.
This is not about me. This is about you.
When I did psychedelics, I kind of realized everybody is the being like me. All the kids in the sweatshops, all the fucking bowlers that are the celebrities.
You are just the watcher of this being.
You didn't really get to pick and choose what your characteristics were going to be. You're given these things, this personality with these certain traits that are good at some things and bad at others.
We just exist. And that's the fucking strangest thing ever. That's a miracle. Like, many of us wake up in the morning each day and recall the story of who we are, remember who we are and where we're going.
And you're sitting there and automatically thoughts are going to come into your head. But if you're like, instead of thinking about it, you like pull back and you're observing these thoughts come by. And I was like,
Who is the one that is watching the thoughts? What the thoughts that you have in your head are different thoughts than you had 10 years ago.
These
Who are
layers.
you? Me. Who else can I be?
It seems like an obvious question. It seems like, why would you even bother asking this question? Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Well, I'm me. I'm me. Why bother asking this question? Why am I asking this question? Why is this important? We suffer a lot in life. A lot of the time we think it's the outside world that causes us to suffer. Whatever it is. But here's the thing, right? We don't have control over the outside world.
People are more focused on the outside world, but actually we are the ones who are producing the outside world with our mind. The way we look at the outside world is based upon how we are internally, our thoughts and feelings about the outside world. It's our own projection, it's our own perception or perspective that makes that thing good or bad. So this is crucial. This is really discussing these sorts of things is actually quite relevant if you want to be happy.
The only thing that is in our control is how we choose to respond to the things outside of us. So it really comes down to understanding who we are and seeing why we choose to respond and react in certain ways.
When I think of who I am, I have a story in my head of who I am. Oh, I'm Jasper, I've had trouble in the past with these sorts of problems, oh, that's gonna be annoying for the future.
We reinforce these ideas constantly. We strengthen that identity. We believe in these thoughts and stories that we tell ourselves. Where did they come from? Where did these beliefs come from? We were just born into the world and we didn't choose parents or the society or the time period that we're going to be born into. And so straight out the womb we are brainwashed, we are socialized, we are manipulated and brought up to act and behave in a certain way that is acceptable in the society that we're in. So if all our beliefs have just come from our cultural and social conditioning, then who are we? A lot of who we think we are is nothing more than programs gone into our subconscious, created by other people. We go about life thinking that these thoughts that we have and the things that we do are us. We all have a picture in our mind of who we think we are. Maybe you identify with your position in society. Maybe you identify with your weaknesses and your strengths. Maybe you identify with being confident or being shy. if all that stuff was put onto us from external forces, from people and our environment and our society, if that was all put onto us, then who is us? Who is me? If that was all put onto me, who is me underneath that?
A few years ago, I had this sort of recognition of the earth as a whole. I could look up at the night sky and envision in my mind, zooming out of this place that I'm on called Earth. And as I visualized this in my mind, zooming out and out more and more, I could see how small I am. I am not the only one here. I'm not the only being. There are other people out there, there are other animals. And so this sort of shattered my perspective of being less than. I really saw the equality within this. And as I kept zooming out in my mind, I could see how small we really are. And I could see how small Earth is compared to all the other planets in the solar system, all the other solar systems and all the other galaxies. Just keep zooming out. And it gets to the point where I'm so small, I'm so small. What am I? What is this? The insignificance in my own problems, my own sense of self. Why was I so caught up? Why am I so caught up in me and not other people? If we're all just these tiny little specks of dust on this tiny little marble in the vastness of space, why am I so focused on me and my own experience? Me and my own experience is no more important than anyone else and their experience. But you see, you come back to being you. You're back here with your problems. Yes, I saw the insignificance within my own sense of self. I saw that we should all be treated equally. But even with this knowledge, I'm still so focused on myself. I still see the importance within myself more than other people, or the importance within myself. It's the same thing. And so this becomes another concept of who you are. Who am I? I'm a speck of dust on this tiny little blue dot. Is there meaning here? Is there any significance? Because when you look at it like this, from this sort of big materialistic point of view of the whole universe, it seems like you're pointless, there's no meaning to you. But then you come back in your own direct experience and you do have meaning. I'm experiencing shit. Life isn't just meaningless because I'm here and I'm experiencing these struggles of life and this happiness. And what do these things mean?
We all realize that we are in the universe. We are a part of the universe. But we are also actually made of the universe. Because when you keep splicing into something, and if you just keep going in and in and in, you get to atoms. You can do that within everything. If you keep going in further and further, you just hit the point where it's atoms. Everything is atoms. And so how am I any different to the world around me if it's all comprised up of the same thing? Me thinking I'm this is just a concept in my mind. It's just thoughts. What is reality? It's sort of the same question as who am I? Because we've gone beneath these layers of this conditioning that usually that's who we think we are. But beneath that, we can see that if what we're made of is the same as what the external reality is made of, then we can realize that it's the same thing. That me in here and that out there is the same.
And then I see that my consciousness is the thing that allows reality to be.
The world is being produced by consciousness. Consciousness is who you are, and consciousness is everything. You are everything. You are the whole thing, experiencing what it's like to be in this limited form. What becomes very tricky is that we do believe we are a separate entity. We think, here's me and there's the world out there. And we think this because we constantly reinforce this idea of who we are, our personality. I've attached my identity to my personality. But like I said, our personality is just from what we have been conditioned with, the society we've grown up into, the environment, parents, the culture, the friends. Our personality is just a natural unfolding of the conditions that we were brought up into. What we think we are the majority of the time, our story, is simply thoughts. We think we are the ones thinking them. But actually, when you sit down to meditate, you can see that you're not the one producing the thoughts. Thoughts are coming to you. If your story is just thoughts, who are you? Who is the one that is watching the thoughts? Consciousness. The thing that has stayed here throughout your whole life is the very fact that you are alive. You are the experiencer. Everything that you experience is secondary. If you can quiet your mind down, you'll see that all the ways that you behave and think and feel was never your choice. And you start to see that you're not in control. You are just the watcher of this being who thinks it is in control.
I'm not Jasper doing these things, trying to get these things done. I'm the witnesser, just watching the movie of Jasper as Jasper. It's the best movie that you can ever fucking watch. You're inside Jasper's mind and his body. How's that for a movie? Imagine going to the cinema, watching a movie, and you become the protagonist. You have all the protagonist's thoughts and feelings. That's what this is. Time of day. Once you open the Pandora's box, you can't close that. You can take the blue pill or the red pill.
It's important to realize that identity takes place 98% on the emotional level. You can have a certain understanding that you're not your thoughts and that you're not your feelings and that you're not your personal identity. But that's about 2%. The other 98% is an emotional connection. It's like this tether, this tie, right?
Fucking weird, man. Like, each of us is just born into the world, and then we've got to live. Do you know what I mean? Like, we didn't ask to be born, and then we've got to keep ourselves healthy, exercise, we've got to eat food and drink water, we've got to get money somehow so we can actually even get the food and water that we need. If we don't want to be depressed, we've got to get friends and be social, and then like on top of that you've got to deal with your upbringing, trauma, your fucking mental illness, your depression and anxiety that stops you from even doing what you want to do. And so we play the cards that we're dealt with, you know. You don't choose any of this shit. Like, the way that you are now is based on how you were, and based on how you were was never your choice because you never chose to be born.
You can realize who you actually are, the one that knows experience, but still have this personality that has these habitual patterns going on.
I've got a lot of thoughts going on of unworthiness and shit like this, and there's constant conflict and battle in my head. I'm sure with a lot of people, there's a lot of contradictory and arguments happening within our own head. But I feel like the more you love yourself, the more your sense of self is larger, as in you include more things within who you are. Because I mean, who are you really? You're a different person each day. Sometimes you're angry, sometimes you're happy, sometimes you're sad. The more love that I give myself, the more I expand my sense of self and my sense of love, the more free I feel, the more confident.
observe yourself in the mirror. What do you see? Who do you see? Observe what comes up. Staring deep into your own eyes. Looking at yourself. What does it feel like to be this person? Who is this person? Feeling it powerfully in your heart, emanating from you, outwards, through you, expanding into all corners of the universe. Transcending time and space.
Stare in the mirror long enough. What can happen
This
is
love that loves you.
you're not the one in the mirror. You are the observer of the one in the mirror.
Loving who you see in the mirror.
The one in the mirror is just another person like anybody else. And it's not you. You're looking at this person in front of you. And that's not you. But you know them so well. You know them so well. But it's not you. You know their struggles, you know their fears, their desires, and you just give them love. You know what they've been through. There's only compassion for them. If what I see in the mirror isn't me, who is the one that is looking at this person in front of me? It's awareness. It's just observing. It's just the witnesser, the observer. That's all of us. When anyone looks in the mirror, that is God looking at this human being that it created. For itself to be. Maybe I'm speaking bullshit here, but it definitely is like fucking strange. I just had this insane experience. I felt so deep in the moment. I came to the tree and I first thought, trunks coming off that look like veins or something like that. And I saw like how weird trees are, how they just like fucking grow like that. Their trunks just go that way, like fucking. And then I thought just how fucking amazing trees are, and I saw how fucking like miraculous they are. Like this is reality, because usually we just fucking label shit. We go tree, yes, not important. We put a level of importance on to certain areas and things in our lives, and so we walk past a tree or just everyday normal thing, and it's just so fucking normal. But it's fucking not. I saw this profound deepening of presence that it felt like I was universal. And a thought came to me that I was like Isaac Newton. Like I was just like, I was put into Isaac Newton's body or some shit, and I'm just like observing this tree. But yeah, I was astounded by the very fact that this exists. That anything exists. Like this is existence. Like, oh bang, I'm here to experience this. And it felt like, you know, who I really am is who everyone really is. Like, I am Isaac Newton. Like, it's the same consciousness. If you just take away all the thoughts and shit, it's the same one viewing the tree completely as it is. It's the same consciousness. It's just different personalities and stuff overlaid onto it that makes us think we're different. We've got different personalities, but the one who is experiencing the personalities is the same one, just going from one body to the next simultaneously. This is reality. This is it. I keep having like these real deep experiences, like really deep in the present moment. There's no identification with me except experiencing. I identify as the experiencer. Not even the experiencer, because that's something like personal, just experience. It's just experience. It's nothing personal. I'm not there. Deep, very deep in the moment. It's in the moment of miraculousness, and you are that miraculousness. But it's not a personal thing, it's just experience. Like, there's no need to say, this is me.
Gonna see that we're all the same. Gotta walk waiting right on the train.
What I find is that it's, you know, there's no mission. It's just about being fully present in the moment. I realise that this is what happiness is. This is what I should strive towards. But the thing is, when you make that a mission, when you make that a goal, it doesn't work. Because this thing that I'm talking about is right now. It's here. And to make it a goal suggests that it's something in the future. And so you've already conceptualized it, you've already, you know, you're already in thought, and you're going, yes, I need to get to that place. But it's right here, it's right now, and it's hard to see all the time.
Yes, I have.
If you can set aside your personality for a bit, you're not imposing your personality onto reality. You're seeing reality how it actually is, rather than seeing it filtered through your own fears and desires. You're alive right now, and we take this for granted so much. We're so caught up in oh shit, what do we got to do, and oh, I've got to go there in 5 minutes, and fuck's sake, oh man, and it's just overwhelming. Our whole personality is so overwhelming. So we forget that there's this precious thing, the space around that, which is life, which is our being.
Someone stop me, so I'm trying to be someone.
die before you die. Imagine that you died and it's just nothingness, right? You're gone from this world, from your own experience, from your thoughts and feelings, from everything. There's nothing. You're dead. And then imagine you coming back. The first thing you would notice is the world around you. And you'd first notice your senses, your sight, what you're seeing, what you're hearing. And so you would come into this feeling so grateful. Everything around you would be like a miracle. It would be like, I can't believe I fucking missed this. Like going through each day and just focusing on all these petty little problems that I have, you would think like, I can't believe I fucking missed this aliveness that is reality. Existence is a miracle. There's no explanation for it. And so you can think about this and go, yeah, that's true. It is a fucking miracle. It is weird that anything exists at all. But just instead of thinking about this miracle, be the miracle. Just observe, just be aware. The minute you make a miracle a concept, it's no longer a miracle.
It's this profound thing where it feels like I am the whole of reality. I'm everything. But there's no identity to me. There's no I to even say, I am reality. It just is. It's just reality, experiencing reality. There's no Jasper, there's no human being, there's no past or future. And it's just the moment, the eternal moment. Yeah, these glimpses feel like I was never born and I can never die. You can go down the route of looking at the past, like how did I get here? Why am I alive? Oh well, retrace your steps back into your mother's womb. And where did she come from? Her mother's womb, and on it goes. And it's just like, I'm just this, this body. I'm this person, but that's simply the body. What is this consciousness beneath the body that is aware of the body?
Each and every one of us knows ourselves as I. When we refer to ourselves, we say, I. I'm over here, someone's over there, I'm a me, and they are them, but to them, they refer to themselves as me. So, there's a bit of a misunderstanding here, isn't there? Beneath the story that you tell, beneath the thoughts that you have and emotions, beneath all that is consciousness. You are them, and they are you. It's the same consciousness.
I'm not a functioning human being. And it's interesting when you can be aware of it and see that, that it's how it all is. Like, there's no one to blame. Like, I can't blame myself, because in hindsight you can see why I chose to act the way I did, and same with anyone else. And, it's a part of nature. But if you put these ideas, these big picture ideas, into this human ego, then the human ego won't do anything in life, which is, again, still part of nature. But what I'm saying is, if you say, I'm not doing anything in my life, then you just come from this high perspective of, well, I can see why I'm not doing what I'm doing because of the way that I am, which is because of the way that I have been, which is because of the environment, which, you keep going back and back and back, and it's like there's no, starting point to any of it. If you come from that high perspective, if you keep using that as an excuse, how are you going to get anywhere? This is what I'm doing. Yes, I can see where I am is all part of nature. I can see it's a natural progression. But for my natural progression to go onwards, I need to let go of that idea, which is also in itself a natural progression. It's very paradoxical, this thing. Yes, your life is a natural unfolding. You don't really have free will. But believing that, where the fuck is that going to get you? You know what I mean? You're going into all these philosophies of no self. And I am not my thoughts. I'm just the observer of my thoughts. I'm not my emotions. I'm not my body. And you can verify for yourself that this is actually the truth. Many moments where I've really tapped into that. And it's freeing. Of course it is. It's fucking freeing, because you're distancing yourself from who you've always thought you were. And so with all these emotional and psychological neuroses and problems that you have in your head,
and then you get into spirituality and you start to see something a lot more truer than these emotional things, then you want to be in that place all the time. It becomes like an addiction. You're a fucking spiritual junkie. And it's hard to admit. It's hard to admit because spirituality is true. It's not some fake thing that I'm having in my head. However, I'm using it in an unhealthy way. I'm using it when I'm not ready for it. You see, you're always going to be pulled back towards what needs to be looked at in your life. You can have some miraculous experience where maybe you realize that you are everything. You realize the oneness in everything. You catch glimpses of these spiritual miraculousness. And it's true, they are valid. But you can't stay in that place simply because you get pulled back towards what needs to be looked at. Some things in your life are operating at a higher level of truth than other things. And I think what happens is we want to try and just stay in the highest truth that we know of. So it's like, you know, if I've had glimpses where it feels like I am reality, I am consciousness, I am awareness, if I hold on to that truth, it doesn't work. You have to ask yourself, what's the truth in every moment?
It's like I'm not going anywhere, I'm not doing anything. And there's a lot of like guilt within me and resentment and fear. I always feel fucking fake, like I'm trying to be somebody. It's like I've always just like never been comfortable with just being me. I'm always trying to be somebody that isn't me. There are so many things that I'm pushing under the rug that I'm not looking at. I'm avoiding because I'm afraid. Like these things need to be sorted.
Spirituality is like this thing that you can lean on. It's like, oh, spirituality will be the savior for me. It's like I can't seem to fucking function in the world. I can't seem to get any friends or earn any money. I'm staying at home eating fucking toast all day long, doing nothing. My life is fucked. Oh, but spirituality, it's all good because I'm not actually Jasper doing these things. Oh, and everything is predetermined. I don't actually have to participate in life. It's all gonna happen for me. And it's all kind of like true. And this is the thing. This is why you can get trapped in it, is that it's like it's true, but it's not really the highest truth that you need to know in every moment, because these things can be quite insensitive to this person, this ego, this personality that believes it is real. This thing that's true exists beyond the mind. The mind can never understand it. Spirituality is about deconstructing your beliefs and conditions. But what's become tricky is that I've somewhat piled on top more beliefs and conditions just with a spiritual tone. It's this balance that I'm trying to get used to, because I mean, like, of course, like when you first get in touch with the absolute, or you get in touch with who you are, it's like, you know, you want to hold on to that. Of course you fucking do, because freedom. And so you're probably going to go overbalance. You're having these experiences, then you hop on the spiritual bandwagon, and then you're riding that shit, and it's completely overbalanced. You forget your humanity, you ditch it, and you just want to be God. But then, like, you've got to learn to fucking even that shit out, you know? And remain, like, realizing that you're home. Like, you are here. It is okay, everything's going to be fine. Everything is fine. But then you've got to be here. You've got to be playing that relative game, and you've got to be your humanity. And this is what I've got to get back to, is that I definitely have ditched a fair amount of my fucking humanity. And it's fucked up. And I ditch it because it's fucking tough. It's emotional. It's raw. It's hard.
There are days when I give up. These days are looking like
I think I'm Jasper, procrastinating, not doing enough, and all this shit, and that, you know, that's real for me. I can't just disregard that and be like, it's all an illusion, because then you're just, you know, cutting yourself off from aspects of yourself, which is just going to create dissociation, and then you're just going to be worse off than before, really. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah. You know, sometimes I ask myself that question, like, what am I doing? And not in like an ego sense. Like, what am I doing in this like bigger picture? Like, who the fuck am I? Like, the most sense that I can come up with or see is that there's a reason that I am me. And I don't know what that reason is, but it seems like it was my choice to be Jasper. And I've always been skeptic about that. I was like, what the fuck does that even mean? Because the majority of the time, of course I don't fucking think I chose to be here. I chose to be Jasper because, you know, my ego would be like, if I fucking chose this, I would choose something a lot happier and something a lot easier. But when I can sort of step back a bit and just sort of observe and be aware, I can really see that this thing is amazing. Like, I'm alive right now. There is no explanation for me being alive. And I don't mean me as an individual, I mean consciousness. Like, I'm conscious, I'm not just some mechanical robot or just an object. Like, this is real, like, I am real. And when I see that, it's like I am God playing the part of Jasper. And from that perspective, it's like I definitely fucking chose to be here. Definitely chose this life, body, this mind. You can really get to a really deep level where everything is amazing and miraculous. Like your livingness, the fact that you're alive. Just like getting in touch with the immediate moment. To me, this is the most profound, satisfying and fulfilling thing that anyone could ever do. Because it's literally getting in touch with something very foundational that people have missed. You know, the foundation is that you are alive in this moment now. And people go, I don't care, like, I've got to pay my bills. You know, I've got young children that need taken care of. And that's all well and good, but if you don't have this foundational thing, you just get lost and suffer. And I'm still in the process. Like, most of the time, I am my ego. I really want to just get more in touch with this foundational thing. Yes, we have bills to pay, we've got other struggles in our lives, but isn't that like a secondary thing? A lot of people have lost touch with the first and foremost thing, the very starting point of anything, that you're alive. And that's something to recognize in every moment, because that's the most fulfilling and satisfying thing that there ever is. It's a miracle that you are alive.
Who am I? The purpose of asking this question is not to find an answer. It's about getting in touch deeply to existence itself, to life. It's getting in touch with being. It seems like asking this question, first I'm trying to get a clear picture of some identity that I can maintain. Jasper, this whole personality, this ego, has a lot of different personas. This whole Jasper, this one persona, encapsulates a lot of different personas. And so this is not about finding the right concept of who you are. Anything that you think you are, that's not you. That's a concept. Who is experiencing? Like, I'm just here. I am just here. No choice in being born, and now I'm in this moment now. The past is just memory.
The future's just imagination. It's just this moment, and what is this moment? Who I am truly and who you are truly, at the fundamental core and essence, can never be described or explained or conceptualized, and nor does it need to be, because it's right here, right now. This is who you are. It's about realizing that you exist now, and that's not a concept.
Stay under the water. You know, you've got to stop running.